with Ray. I hope you've enjoyed these. I mean, I've enjoyed making them for you. I hope you enjoy listening to my, dulcet tones. They're not dulcet at all. I'm sure they haunt your dreams. Because I'm a little nasal because I'm from Cleveland. But I've done one, actually we did one, I did one on Skinamarink, and then we did one on, Ween and myself did one on, Cocaine Bear. Okay, excellent. Skinamarink was good too. I'm one of the 2 people who fucking enjoyed it. And then I just recently did the Outwaters, which seems to be really, guys agree with me, or at least like are willing to hear me out. So my weird theory. So, hey, I hope you like this. Probably not, because I'm gonna hate on this a little bit because, whoa. All right. So, I am talking tonight about M3gan. Megan. I did not see the PG-13 theatrical cut. I waited because I was not paying $20 to watch Megan. Sorry. Not watching for a PG-13 horror movie. Peace the fuck out. Nope. So I waited till it was on Peacock and it was free. And so I watched the unrated version there. Just to start off, I don't know, I didn't mention it last time, but my tree back in the background, it's my St. Patrick's Day tree. It's all green. There's actually shamrocks on it. You can't see it, but I'm ready. Sláinte, toast of our people. And wearing my Ted Lasso shirt to get in the mood because the trailer for season 3 dropped yesterday. So, all right. So I took in this film yesterday. Honestly, I do not know what the big difference between this. I mean, I do. There are a couple kills that are graphic, that would probably push the boundary of a PG-13. But honestly, there's been worse stuff on, like, American Horror Story or whatever's on Sci-Fi or some other like cable network. So this, to me, that this is, an unrated version seems so, and there's not even, I don't believe there's even an F word. There's one, maybe Gemma says something. Anyhow, so there's not much swearing in it. There's no sex. And again, there's a little gore in this movie. All right, so, I don't know how to handle this. You guys have probably already seen it already, but, so I don't want to, you know what, I'll just start talking, and I have a whole fuck ton of notes, but I'm not going to go through them all, because y'all, well, I guess it's not too many. Usually I have a lot more than this. But we're going to just, I'm just going to breeze through them. Hit the gory parts so that those of you who have seen it at home, or sorry, you've seen it in the theater, have seen the PG-13 cut, you'll know what the difference is. Okay, so Blumhouse. I love you sometimes, Blumhouse, and sometimes you piss me off. I don't know what it is. I have a love-hate with them because they do such great things. And then they pull a piece of shit every so often. You're like, what was that one, Truth or Dare or whatever? Okay. I've heard not so great things about The Black Phone. To me, that doesn't seem like, from what I understand, is not a horror movie. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. I don't know. Whatever. But I give it up to Jason Blum just because, like, he created this fucking company from nothing. So awesome. And they do kind of invest in these projects that probably no one else would. But I will be interested because I've heard, well, we'll get to it at the end. So we start the movie with this couple. So I guess I should put up the top. I'm going to spoil. It's a fucking doll movie that kills people. I don't know. There's not much to spoil. There's not a twist or anything. So I'm going to talk about the kills. So I guess if you don't want the kills spoiled for you, turn back. All right. Going in, I'll say yeah, watch it. You know what? Watch it for the fucking amazing performance by the little girl. I think it's Amie McDonald. I can't think of her name right now. Amie, who plays Amie Donald, who plays fucking Megan, and who so it's between how they work Megan is it's between this adorable little New Zealand girl, and a where she's it's like it's you know, if you need to see her face, like Megan's face on her body, they put a mask on her of Megan. Other than that, it's puppetry. So, and some visual effects. No CGI in this movie. None. Which I 100% yes. So if you're gonna watch it, if you got, I mean, again, if you have Peacock TV, it's free. So fuck it, and they have both versions on there. But I would wholeheartedly recommend just for the doll, just watching this girl act. She acts the shit out of that role. I mean, it's amazing. And she seems like a real cool, like really well-adjusted kid for being a murdering doll. So, you know, because you think about Chucky. Chucky was Brad Dourif, a grown man doing the voice of it, and it was a doll. It was a literal doll. So, yeah, you would think there'd be some little scar in there for that girl, but she was like, "Yeah, I'm a murderer." Anyhow, not really, but so we start the movie off with this couple very already bitching at one another, and you're like, wow, are we going to sit with these fuckers through this whole movie? There's no. And I knew Allison Williams was in it, so I was wondering who. And then they said they called the little girl. There's a little girl sitting in the back seat. They called her Katie. I'm like, well, that's the main girl. Like, that's the little girl who gets Megan. So who the fuck are these people? Well, it happened to be their parents, and they are dispatched quite quickly by a snowplow. So, because at one point they're driving and he's yelling at Katie in the backseat because she's got this toy that's definitely like a Furby sort of toy. But except it has fucking human teeth, guys. It has human teeth. For all of you who were upset about Sonic the Hedgehog having human teeth, this upset me. This bothered me. Okay? So it's same thing as a Furby, but with fucking human teeth. So anyhow, it falls down on the floor, so she goes to get it. It's a fucking snowstorm, okay? And they're going back and forth like, we should put chains in the car. It's not 4-wheel drive. I'm like, well, if you live in Ohio, I mean, I have rear-wheel drive. I don't have front-wheel drive on my car. I don't know. Whatever. Again, I'm a girl. I mean, no, that's not true. I mean, I guess it is true, but I mean, like, I don't know things about cars. I take it to someone to fix it. Anyhow, needless to say, if you don't drive in snow, then yes, you probably are not equipped. Don't necessarily you need to have chains on your tires. You need to go a little slower, which I was like, Dad, slow the fuck down. You can't see, and it's a snowstorm, and you can't drive in it. You're not queen of the road. Come snow, like moi, because I drive a little slower. Anyhow, they get hit front on because he just is like, I'm going to stop here and wait for be able to see. I'm like, you don't stop right in the middle of the road, though, dude. You have to like figure out where you're at on the road. Like, you can't just stop because you don't know if you're in the middle. Twas in the middle of the road because they are hamburger. Anyhow, except for Katie. Katie survives. And so Katie is then sent to live with her Aunt Gemma, who is Allison Williams. And my first note is just like, oh, that poor baby. Like, you see her in the hospital, she's all banged up. And, like, it moves very quickly from, parents dead to living with Aunt Gemma and having no toys, nothing. This is, like, a very much, like, y'all can't see it, but upstairs, I mean, I get Grogu down here, but upstairs I have, like, all my collector's toys. So, like, if I had a child that were coming over and wanting to play with my toys, I would say the same thing as Allison, as Gemma says. She's like, yeah, because she has collectibles, and she's like, yeah, these aren't toys for you to play with. These, and everyone looks at her like she's a fucking monster, and I'm like, just because it says it's a toy on it does not mean you were. It just, if those who are collect vintage toys will tell you, it's like, I'm sorry that you have a problem with that. Get over it. Buy two. Buy one that you can play with and one you can't. But it's got to be in the packaging. I'm sorry. Like, anywho, I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate from that, but I don't care. And at the same time, we learn that Gemma and her group, so there's two people. One is Tess, and the other one who I could not for the life of me remember what his fucking name was. At one point I was making it out. I'm like, oh, Henry. I'm like, no, it's Harry. No, his name was fucking Cole. Not anywhere close. Nowhere close. They are building this in secret, this like AI robot. And Ronnie Chang plays David, Gemma's boss, who is unaware of this project and pretty much comes in and was like, wait, you just spent $100,000 on literally a mask for this robot that I didn't give you permission to make. And so the face on, like the mask that goes on the face, the metal like skull on it, has receptors to make it, move and have lifelike emotions on his face. However, the head fucking explodes, and it was so funny. So funny. So David's not happy. And so the last thing that Gemma needs right now is to take care of a child, unfortunately. And she's not... It'd be like someone giving me a child right now and be like, here, take care of this baby. I'll be like, well, I'm not baby. I mean, she's 7, 8, maybe? 8. No, 8, 9. I don't know. I don't remember. Anyhow. 8. Anyhow. It would be the same way. I'm like, I don't know what to do with this child. Do you want some pizza? I don't know. So, like, we start seeing how, Gemma and Katie react to one another, very much like two strangers living in one house together. And Gemma doesn't know how to take care of Katie because Katie is suffering from PTSD and also the loss of parents. And Gemma also is grieving because she lost her sister. And she also has this new person, this new being in her house that she's responsible for, she has no idea how to take care of. So there's a lot going on. Well, Lydia comes in. Lydia is this bitchy ass therapist, which I was like, I don't know what this movie's trying to say. Is it trying to say something shitty about therapy? Because it's really not. I mean, it shouldn't. But it felt like I felt very like, I felt therapy was under attack at first because Lydia's a fucking bitch. Yes, she is. She comes in and pretty much tells Gemma, I mean, like, with her eyes, not so much with the mouth, but with the eyes, is like, you're dumb and you don't know how to take care of a child. And at one point she wants to see her playing with toys, like Katie playing with toys, and she's like, I don't have any toys here. And Lydia's like, well, what about those? Gemma goes, well, and Katie interrupts and goes, those are collectibles. They're not to be played with. They're not toys. And Lydia gives her like, look. And so Gemma goes over and opens one of those fucking boxes that I could only think in my head was like, oh, I bet you that's like about $40,000 or something. So you could just see it was killing her. It was crushing her soul to open up the box. So anyhow, so they're playing, and I guess it's not good enough for Lydia. And Lydia's pretty much comes up and she says, well, how close were you with your sister? To Gemma. And I was like, one, that's none of your business. Like, you're here for the kid and my relationship with the kid. Not my relationship with my sister. Mm-mm. I mean, I could see tangentially why she would need to know, but I'm like, the way she says it and the way she's like already casting aspersions is kind of like, okay, bitch, I can't wait for M3gan to beat you senseless. So what they kind of like, so what ends up happening is that Gemma, in the long run, she's got this, she has this project she had in college that's kind of hanging out in her like, in her workroom. And Katie finds it, and it's pretty much the prototype for M3gan. It's called Bruce. And she says to Gemma, if I had a toy like this, I would never want another. Well, light bulb. Because then Gemma's like, now I know what I'm gonna make. So I'm going to fuck this pets shit, this the Furby garbage that I've been dealing with. I'm gonna push that back a week and I'm gonna perfect M3gan. And does she ever? She totally does. And she then like introduces M3gan and Katie, and she does it with a presentation to in front of David so that he can see what she's been working on. And to make M3gan work, she has to pair like Bluetooth. I was like, oh, she's like an earbud. That Katie had to put her hands in M3gan's hands and just hold it, and is pairing. I was like, oh, that's sweet. But then she's the primary user for M3gan, so she can say M3gan off, M3gan power on, or whatever. Well, things are fine. You see a montage of Katie and M3gan being best friends forever. You know, also the music in this movie is fucking amazing, FYI. And we start to see M3gan taking on more parental experience, like responsibilities, like not given by Gemma. Like Gemma's not saying, "Hey, why don't you tuck, M3gan, tuck Katie into bed." No, Katie or M3gan's just like, I'm gonna go do that. Like, and it's almost if, and some of the things that she's advising Katie to do is what a parent would. So don't forget to flush the toilet. Don't forget to flush the toilet. Wash your hands, brush your teeth, blah, blah, blah. You know, eat your vegetables. So at some point, you're asking yourself as the viewer, as does Tess, what is your, Gemma, what is your place in this relationship then? If you are supposed to be the caregiver, you are no longer the caregiver. You have given that up to a fucking robot. So you're supposed to be making inroads with your niece to make her feel like, I don't know, because she has PTSD. So why don't you work on that relationship? No, you see her, Katie's off with M3gan and she's on her laptop. Great. And Tessa's pretty much the same thing. She's like, this thing, and what's happening with M3gan is because this is a horror movie, she is going onto the internet and she's searching up information and improving herself, improving her knowledge base, improving. And at one point they're talking, Tess is pretty much confronting Gemma and saying like, hey, dude, this is not what I signed up for. I did not sign up for this project for you to be like an absentee caregiver. That's not what this is for. And she goes, and you're grieving and Katie's grieving the death of her parents. And M3gan goes, what is death? Or no, how did Katie's parents die? And you could just see everyone just turn being like, what the fuck? And so Gemma's like, you're not to have that information. She goes, you don't need to know about death. And she was scouring internet for information about death. I was like, oh, you are fucked now. This is where the horror comes into play, guys. Yeah. So then all along too, we've had this, Gemma lives next to this lady, Celia, who has this dog. Dewey. Dewey's a bit of a dick. He is like not. She doesn't take care. I mean, she's not. He's never on a leash. She's always like in her yard. So Gemma's. It's a bad relationship between the two. Like Celia seems to be more like kind of. I don't know if she's just. I don't know. It's not a good relationship between the two of them. So. Oh, Megan and Katie are outside playing, and Megan goes to get, like, I guess they're, Katie has a bow and arrow, and she goes to go get and Megan goes to get the missing arrow, and happens to be in a hole in the fence to the neighbor's yard. And Dewey bites Katie and also Megan. So Megan is like, because pretty much what that whole thing with the death, exchange between Gemma and Megan is Gemma's like, you are here to protect Katie emotionally and physically. That is what your job is. That is it. You are not to console her. You are not here to, I mean, like, she's more of like, not going into specifics, but that's pretty much what she's getting at. She's like, you're here to just be her, like, her maid, almost. Not a maid, but like her bodyguard, pretty much, and her companion. So Megan takes that pretty seriously, and she's like, dog is a threat. You can imagine what happens. Oh, I'm not going to go into what happens with Dewey. We don't see it, luckily. We do not see it. But I don't know if that was in the PG-13 version at all. But yeah, it is. Never mind. I'm not going to go into it again if you want to see it. But there's no blood or anything. It's a little disturbing. I was like, I am not enjoying this right now. And let's see. Then we see the real connection between Katie and Megan. So besides both being, bitten up by the dog, so what happens at this demonstration, they have this big demonstration in front of investors the next day. So Katie's just sitting there, and like, so every time that they do a demonstration of some sort, it's almost like they're in, I just think of the room from Ghostbusters 2 that Egon puts the kids in with like the one two-way glass, like they have, and so you can see the subject in the room, but they can't see you. And so Katie's in the room, and she just starts crying. Like it's like a playroom on the one side. And Megan has come in. Well, Megan comes in and she's like, do you want to make a flower with this paper and this rubber band? And Katie just starts crying. And then they start talking about her parents. And this is actually a very sweet, it got me. It's a very sweet part where Megan asks Katie to tell her something a memory of her mom that she loves or that makes her smile. So she records, like, so she says whatever it was, and Megan records it. She goes, you will have this forever. If you want to tell me more about your mom and dad, I will keep this for you forever. So, and then she starts singing this sweet but sort of creepy song about being friends, and all the investors are crying and they're all excited. And you can see, oh shit, there's no way back from this. Like, this is it, guys. Let's see. I'm gonna keep. So, Katie's mom was homeschooling her, which is fine. But Gemma does not want to homeschool her. So they're trying to, like, different places, like, kind of like akin to homeschooling, like have the same sort of vibe. So you try to do this like a play date or like an experience, sort of like picnic in the woods, to kind of try out, see if Katie would get along with the kids that possibly might be in her class. So of course, she can't go without Megan. And even though Gemma's like, dude, I gotta take this doll in to have it, like, because at this point, there's like 3 different names. Gemma is really leery of Megan. Like, she's realizing something's up with this kid. Well. This is where we get this scene. This whole scene is where we get from the trail. This is the trailer scene. This is her fucking crab walking through the scuttling like fucking Sebastian through the goddamn woods. Holy shit. But this kid that Katie gets paired up with is Brandon. First, Gemma says, yeah, you can bring Megan. She has to sit with the other toys at the toy table. I want this picture of fucking Megan sitting in between all of these stuffed animals. I want it as my wallpaper on my phone, on my computer, everywhere. I laughed so fucking hard. It was beautiful. So this Brandon kid that she gets stuck with, he's a creep. He's also like way older than the other kids. The best part is when he get introduced to Brandon, his mom's just like, oh, kind of hippy dippy and like, oh, well, like I know that positive reinforcements, blah, blah, blah. He's just, just tall for his age. And so you see Brandon come out and even Gemma's like, how old is that kid? And she goes, oh, Brandon, I wrote this in, are you warm enough? Do you need your hat? He goes, fuck off, Holly! And I was dying, even though Brandon's such a shit. It was very funny. Because then he steals Megan, and I'm like, oh god, this kid's gonna fuck that doll. Oh my god, he's gonna try to fuck that doll. And at one point, like, he takes it, he starts taking his shoes off. I'm like, no, I do not need this in this movie. I do not need this guy fucking this kid that is bordering on teenaging, on fucking this doll. Please, God, don't. And he doesn't, but he definitely tries to, he tries to punch it, and he's, and she rips the fuck off his ear. She rips his ear right off. And that was gnarly. I have to say, that was awesome, because it stretches like it's like gum. It's awesome. And then it just tears. That's, and then she has the line, which I believe is in the trailer too, where she goes, this is the part where you run. And whoever's doing, I forgot who it is. There's a girl that's separately, Jenna Davis is doing Megan's voice, and it's awesome. Yeah, this is the part where you run. And he does, he runs, and she scuttles after him like Sebastian under the sea. And, but what's amazing is if you go and watch any behind the scenes about them making this, because you can see this Amie Donald doing the scuttling. It's awesome. Like, this kid is fucking amazing. And this is frightening. I had to say, this part is scary as shit. Okay, so let's see. Oh, so she scuttles after him, and then she pushes him into the road. And we see that kid get fucking hit by a car. Like, holy shit, I'm laughing. He's such a douchebag. Like, it's you shouldn't laugh, but it's horrifying, but at the same, it's a fucking movie. So, yeah, they're talking about it afterwards, Gemma and Katie, and Katie's like, what happens with Brandon now? She's like, he's in a better place. And so later on, Katie asks Megan, do you think he's in a better place? And she's like, fuck no. I mean, she doesn't say fuck no, but she's like, no. She actually laughs, if I remember correctly. No, he's not. Bad boys like Brandon don't go to heaven. I'm like, holy shit. Besides the fact that how does this doll know the difference between heaven and hell and afterlife? Oh, well, she looked it up on the internet. So, this is also where Katie asks, did you push him into the road? And Megan doesn't say no, doesn't deny that she did. And she says there will always be forces that are trying to keep us apart. okay, dude. All right. But then she starts singing Titanium. Okay. Um, and Celia has thought from Dewey's disappearance that Gemma has killed, like, either kidnapped or killed Dewey. So, or she's still missing. So she's out with her bowl of, this was sad, with her bowl of food, calling for Dewey. And Megan has this thing where she can use, was it AI, and then replicate someone's voice. So she replicates a dog whimpering, luring Miss Celia into I think it's her own woodshed. I believe so. Yeah, it is. Oh, I've never seen someone get power washed to death, but I did. It's not that gnarly. The worst part is it's on the face. They show the side of the face getting like, but again, I don't know if it's necessarily like more than PG-13. Or maybe I'm just desensitized. That could be too. I don't mean, that's not a shocker. It's not a far shot off. Let's see. At the same time, Gemma's going through, like, so all of these videos because obviously in Megan's brain, she's taking videos of things that she sees, like of every interaction. She's a camera, like her eyes are cameras. So those should be like uploading to this cloud server. Well, Gemma decides to go and double check, and they're not. So that's happening. And as she's doing that, in comes Megan. And she finally, because at this point, she can't say, Megan, power down. She won't do it. Like, Megan has moved past the singularity. Like, she is one of the Borg now. No, she is like not that's not gonna work. Also, like, she's pretty much like, you're not my primary user anymore. I mean, you're not, because she's the secondary user. You're not. I'm past you right now. And so the thing is, what she does is she pulls up a pen and she makes her look at it. And as she's like, focus on the top of the pen. And as she's doing that, she ends up turning her switch off, which is behind her ear. So she's like, this bitch needs to be reprogrammed. Mm-hmm. She wraps her up in what's that called? My brain. Wrapping paper, or packing stuff, and then pretty much like throws her in the trunk. And poor Katie, but at the same time, Jesus Christ. So she's having a hissy fucking fit, because I get it. Like, she's lost her best friend, because Lydia has said at one point, what she's doing. This is I forgot what the attachment theory. Have you heard of attachment theory? What happens is, when there's a loss like this, the subject will find something else to attach themselves to, usually the closest thing to them, and they will see that as their new parental, like, unit, and who they are now taking advice and cues from. Well, she's like, you're not Katie's, it's Megan. And my first thought was, what the fuck's gonna happen when this girl outgrows this doll? Like, this doll's looks like she's 8, 9, I don't know, the same age as her. So what happens when she's 16 years old and she's driving a car? She's gonna take Megan with her? She's gonna hang out? I mean, she does look like one of the Olsens, the Olsen twins. So maybe she could just tell everybody that she's like a forgotten Olsen. This is Megan Olsen. This is Elizabeth's youngest sister. Yay. That's why she wears those big glasses. And so, needless to say, Katie not happy. She's not happy. She starts to scream in the car. And it is, she's pushing herself into Babadook territories. That fucking kid from the Babadook. She starts screaming. It went up my fucking spine. I was like, oh my God, Katie, if you don't stop, all the goodwill I had towards you is going to be out the goddamn window. But luckily, well, no, actually, this goes on for a little longer because then she starts like going off on Lydia and throwing, like, she's in the demonstration room and she's throwing chairs, and at one point she slaps the shit out of Gemma, and you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. And I think everyone at that point is like, you will never get that doll back. Like, I think that's when Katie realizes how bad she's, like, oh my God, like, I didn't mean to hit you. And I think she realizes that M3gan, this is not healthy. And when a kid realizes something's not healthy, you know it's bad. So then she decides, fuck it, I'm taking Katie home. You need to tell David to turn this shit, because this is like the launch for this thing. Like, more and more M3gans all over the place. FYI, also, somebody's been doing insider trading and been sending, like, sending the blueprints of M3gan to other companies. So great. Even if they don't launch, guess what? There's still blueprints for another M3gan out there. Awesome! Well, they're like, okay, we're gonna shut this down. Well, they try to. Cole and Tess try to. And M3gan, she tries to strangle Cole, almost succeeds. And then she lights a fire in the lab and just, like, pieces out. Then we get the scene in the hallway where, again, trailer scene with her dancing. And that's that girl's dancing. That's that girl. Her dance choreographer, she, like, choreographed 3 different dances and whatever, what's his name? Gerald Johnstone so whatever Johnstone wanted of the 3 is what showed up in the movie. But that is her doing that whole dance. And she kills David. What she's planning on doing is pinning it on Kurt, which is another character I didn't mention, but on somebody else, his assistant. She walks out, so Gemma and Katie are gone. They've gone home. Gemma thinks that she's talked to Tess, but again, because M3gan can pretend to be, like, she can modulate her voice to be other people's voice, she thought she was calling, that she's talking to Tess. So M3gan rolls out in a fucking McLaren. I lost my shit because I was like, what is that? They made jokes about Tesla earlier, so I was like, oh, is that nope. I had to look it up because, again, cars, guys. Cars. I don't know anything about them. But I know that McLarens are very expensive. So this bitch rolls out in a fucking McLaren to go cut some bitches up. They get, the next scene is pretty much Gemma has put Katie to bed, and she herself is going to bed, and she hears piano music playing from the living room. And it's the showdown of all showdowns between Gemma and M3gan. And at one point during the first part of the fight, Katie walks out, and it's almost like, go back inside, we're fighting! It was almost kind of like, what? I mean, this really, pretty much, they don't deny that they're fighting, sort of. Yes, I mean, they don't really fight, yeah, like, it's pretty much like, oh, Gemma just threw me down onto the table, don't worry, go to bed, Katie. And then they start really fucking each other up with, I don't want to get into the whole thing, because this fight scene is long. It's a good fight scene. It's just, it is very long. And I'm not going to tell you how it ends or how M3gan is taken out. I don't think there's anything in this. There's nothing in this fight scene that it would equate. I think that would equate to more than a PG-13 rating, especially in this end scene, because it is her fighting with a fucking doll. So, I mean, I think you probably have seen worse on like the Chucky TV show. Like, I don't know. I mean, but there's, I, so that's how it ends. So it ends with, uh, Henry / Harry / Cole and Tess are still alive, and they come and get Katie and Gemma. Jesus, can I tell you how hard it was to try to remember those three? Like through this whole thing, could they just have like, oh no, Gemma. Anyhow, oh, it was the three ladies' names that were just interchangeable. Anyhow, yeah, it's and so it ends with the possible, like, you don't necessarily don't come around and say it, but this movie made fucking tons of buckets of money, so there's gonna be a M3gan 2, Electric Boogaloo, M3gan 2, Electric Friend for You. That's dumb. So one thing I will say is check out, I don't know if anybody goes to Peacock and sees that any of there's like curated lists by either characters or guest stars or guests, guest curators. And because one was oh god, Nicole Byer, which I was laughing because I love Nicole Byer. If you've not watched Nailed It, please watch Nailed It. It's great. But M3gan curates her own list. And I had to say, all of her selections are pretty fucking spot on. They're pretty, I mean, give or take M3gan. She's got some good taste. Anyhow. So what I say, like, I don't have time, nor do I care to go back and watch the PG-13 movie to see what the difference was. I really could not give a fuck. Will I watch another one of these if it comes out? I don't know. I don't know necessarily if I liked it that much to... I really, seriously do not get the 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, I will give it, I mean, yes, for the acting performance of Amie Donald. Yes. But it was nothing special. I don't think it was that great. I'm sorry, guys. So would I watch another one? Probably not. I mean, I'd rather watch something with a little bit more depth, or if it's something funny and splatter, go fucking. I watched Cocaine Bear 400 times over this. I mean, duh. So our ratings, which I haven't done for the other two, I fucking forgot, and I think we forgot to for Cocaine Bear. So first is Blood and Gore. It's 1 to 5, so I'm gonna say 1. I mean, there's very little. 2 is Spooky Scary. Honestly, I'm gonna say 1.5 for the performance of Amie Donald, because well, you know what? I'm gonna go full up 2 because so M3gan's face is much more expressive than Chucky's ever has been, like ever. So I'm gonna say 2 on that. And the fucking crab scuttle is a lot. No sex and nudity. And then fun and entertainment, 1.5. I mean, it was fine. Again, it's the novelty of it, and I guess whatever. But yeah. Cool. So that's that. Let me just say, coming up, we are recording this weekend Saint Maud and the Babadook. So if you want to see me, oh my god, my eyes are already starting to twitch. If you want to hear me scream about another kid who fucking drives me crazy, then listen to our episode on the Babadook, because I fucking hate that movie. Excellent. We will be starting also our series on The Last of Us. So that will be coming up very shortly. And that will be video. And then you can find us wherever we find podcasts. And we have a Twitter, and which I don't use very much because I'm the social media person of the two of us. So we don't use the Twitter very much because, well, because it's Twitter anymore. And we have a pretty nice Instagram, and we have a TikTok that we don't use either. So, cool. On that note, keep it spooky.